they come up with here on the first round with just a GMD on tiles.
Indeed, XSET on that defense. Looking to be pretty passive so far. Had that tree control and not really wasting time is GENG moving up towards mid pretty quickly as well. They have that cap pressure also possible. It's looking to us like it might very well be an A split, but they are leaving themselves the options to go back quickly for a mid rotation. If they pull the defenders towards this A side, and they're able to actually just already make their way into the side actually, so looking pretty good. But XSET, they're not trying to overcommit for Jules just yet. They're trying to come in all together, and so far it's not going to work out too well, Riv.
But you know, I thought initially XSET there had a pretty good rotation, understanding the smoke could have been a fake from Gamon from mid, and then they get into the site, and the trades are so in favor of GENG. 4v1, BCJ doing what he can with a little bit of dart work. One more left in the rounds, or in the chamber rather, as he reloads. And now just on to try and tag a few heads here and get a few laser shots to end the round. He's going to toy with them, but he's going to be hunted down here. Everybody coming from that tree garden area now through the window. Up above, it's going to be enough from Michael as he drops down and gets himself a sheriff. So first round for GENG. We'll see if they give some respect here to maybe a possible shorty buy or a possible eco buy here from XSET, and how fast they rush this.
Yeah, and this is a difficult one too, because at first I thought that the setup from XSET was to not necessarily challenge, just really hold on to tree control, but if they wanted to just go straight to site, let them, and then sort of wait it out, coordinate for a full retake. But they got kind of caught in some battles in the middle, and it got a little bit chaotic, but you know, such is the way of pistols. They of course will be on the eco now, so we'll see if they can get any damage. Of course, when you're on the eco, you're not necessarily looking at trying to win rounds. You might try to have smaller goals, like trying to get a couple kills, steal away some weapons, and then see what you can do once you get into the mid round, if that first sort of phase is successful. And here we can see a stack towards B, and stacking sites is something that XSET really loves to do, and I'm sure we're going to see a lot of that even in the gun rounds.
XSET a bit short on util. They're not going to throw everything into that right now on a save round. So a little advantage to GENG, and I love just overall teams that take control of mid. It's so powerful on ASCENT. The crossfire here, they're going to find one. Whitebo tries to get out of this situation, but he's going to be run down, gunned down as they see the stack is towards the B site. And we did coming up with a classic there. They're going to be possibly able to grab that Spectre and make a move here onto the site to do some economy damage to GENG.
Yeah, and it'd be really cool to see if they've got any sort of exit strategies here. Unfortunately, there's so much control for XSET right now. They know what's safe, so they can always fall back if things get a little bit dicey. And you can see Win there is able to spot basically everybody. And they're actually going to force it all the way in here. So they are going to force XSET, or rather GENG, to have to take some fights. Nice opener from Pura, but looks like things will be calming down here as these weapons are just too good for GENG. And XSET, I think they have to be happy with that. 3 kills, I think. You can definitely be very pleased to get that much damage in with a round like that.
Oh, there's the Odin coming out already from BCJ. He's going to take that over to B, see if he can start off some rounds. And yeah, you're right. The weapon's too much. GENG getting a bit of positioning there to start off. And XSET all coming from spawn, so you're not going to be able to really get too much of a flank on or have them looking at different angles on your entry. Quick rounds as we expected after the first one, or quick round, I should say. Now it's weapons in the hands of XSET. What can they do? We did see the impact rounds against FaZe for a few once they were figuring out the aggression, moving forward, grabbing info right away. So sitting on their heels here won't do them any good. GENG's already into that A main, as you were saying, Dan. Control over this orb is going to be big, and that puts Win 2 away from ultimate.
Yeah, they're going to prioritize it on him instead of Mikhail, and that's interesting, but we'll see whether or not this retake setup is going to work out, because the site's been completely given to XSET, and I think that's quite smart, given that XSET are on these weapons that are going to be really good close range, but in some of these longer fights aren't going to work out as well. I think the retake play works here, but we'll see if they can make it happen. Sean is going aggressive for tree control. The tracer through, though, to XSET. We did it's just owning them right now. 3 kills from him, and that's going to leave just Win with a Bucky. But that said, we all know how much damage the Bucky can do. Steel likes to remind us pretty consistently, but it will be a great retake after all is said and done. But it looks like one of those spots also where I think GENG are pretty happy considering how much damage they did. They got the spike down. It was a bonus round.
Yeah, you're not going to be mad about that. An extra 300 in the pocket all around. We'll see what their buy is here. And still leaving a few on 1,000, full utility all around. So let's see if they do actually take some damage over here at B. You made a mention of the Mikhail not getting that Hunter's Fury. He does have it this round. Now Hwin's on deck for his ult. We also have Aaron on the other side waiting there with From the Shadows on We Did. So a few that could be utilized here pretty early. We're only on round 4. We're seeing ultimates pop up. That's what you love to see. It could help really control these first or second buy rounds. As we start off, paint shells dodged out by Hwin's quick dash, and he'll be able to set up here back by Gelato. It doesn't look like they're going to want anything here at A. Feeling out what XSET wants right now. I'm still thinking GENG is going to send a few towards mid just to get that broken up again, not allow the rotation to be so easy, and they're already starting to encroach on that position.
Yeah, very fast mid take from GENG, and the door is down. So in terms of the information game, although there is position here now for GENG, they would have to give up the game perhaps to break the door, create some pressure. That would definitely cause some rotations from A. So they've got to be set up before they make that move, and they have just made that move. The door is down, and it's starting to pressure the B site. Defender rotation is coming, but can GENG take the site in time before it gets there? And they're not going too quickly. They're actually holding their ground. They are counting on the defender rotation, and they want to punish it. But I'm not sure how well this is going to go. Mikhail will be able to take down one on the flank, but now they're moving in, and the defenders are ready to go.
Already into the site. I would have said at that point, if you're still in main, start rotating over with that rotation. You hear the Odin in the back trying to find him. XSET kind of cleaning up right now, as it was such a scatter within the site. What a round coming up there for BCJ to stay alive. Dead to rights, really, as GENG was coming in, and they just get wiped out.
Yeah, it was interesting because it looked like GENG was setting up, like we said, with the door down. As soon as they break that door, the rotation from A with 3 players on the side of XSET are going to rotate. So either you try to rush in at that point because you can get a timing advantage to get like a 5 versus 2 on the B site, or the other thing that they did was they just waited because they wanted to seemingly punish the rotation, and that didn't really work out for them. So we'll have to see if they'll adjust their maneuvers like that if they run that round again in the future. But for now, it's definitely a great start for XSET, who are doing really well in their retakes, and they're starting to build some money, and it feels like they're in the driving seat now.
Quick tech pause as GENG restarts comms, gets those up and running once again. Kind of imperative to have as we get back into this one. And yeah, looking at that, Dan, I almost called that XSET was giving up too much room, right? Obviously, they closed door. They know they're playing a bit of a retake if mid is left alone. But with what GENG is able to do with space like that, moving up with Guaman, able to just make moves, you have to be careful. They were ready, and they kind of are adapting to knowing GENG is going to want to push mid, doing their homework.
Definitely, and it's interesting too because I think if GENG slow the game down too much, I think XSET might be quite difficult to read because, again, as mentioned before, they're a team that will use the Sentinels like Sova, and although I guess Sova's technically an initiator, and Cypher as well to get that information early round, and then use that to kind of, they're not too shy to just gamble off that information. Some teams would want to get more information to actually genuinely have enough pieces to kind of put together, okay, our opponents are doing this.
Right.
But usually when you do that as a defenders, you're also telling the attackers information about what your setups look like. So it's always going to be a trade-off. And XSET like to play the stacking gameplay where they'll get that info early and then try to just stack off of it, like gamble off of it. So we'll see if that's what they'll continue to do against GENG here. I think this is a round that will give us a clue as to whether they're going to approach with that style of play.
So all that info, and yeah, we talked about it a little bit before to see how either team on defense would play kind of retake potential. This would be if everyone A waits and it's an A take, all of your utility, as you said, the Sova, the Cypher, to retake. That makes it really effective when you want to get Raise nades in there if they're still alive. And then the other side is going to be all the damage. Sova, Cypher are going to have to back up. You're still going to have that util, but it's just a matter of how you want to play it, how you're going to feel comfortable coming in with that utility, with that power play. Still waiting on this as they get comms raring and going. And it looks like a hover towards A. Anything can happen this round. But it has been kind of the A, like you said, focus on the main, back up, figure out what's going on. At least a few mid to cut off quick rotations and market control. And GenG's been happy with that. XSET figuring it out now a few rounds in as we start to get to those weapons.
Yeah, and it does already, as you mentioned, that you're using like the word retake, and it does really feel like XSET very comfortable with that style of play, and that is kind of to the nature of the stacking gameplay, where you're saying, okay, if you come into our stack, obviously we're going to fight for it, and we have a really strong chance to defend. If you go elsewhere, well, we have all the retake setups, so that's how we like to play. We're drilled in how we do that, so we're comfortable no matter what happens, and we can play against teams that are really good at denying information. And instead of feeling the pressure, because a lot of teams on the defense, it's all about trying to fight for that information, and an attacking default is all about taking information away from the defenders. So if your attacking team is really effective in their defaults, you feel really uncomfortable because you don't know how to make a good decision. You just don't have the information to do it. But XSET seem to be, in the style of play that they have on this map, really comfortable against teams that are successful in denial of information. So it's that's really good. And one extra point actually, Riv, is that
Hit it.
GenG is a team that does really well against pretty much everyone. And I think against the top teams, they tend to seem to, there's like a hump that they struggle to get over when they have these leads. And so XSET is a team where I think GenG are going to be more comfortable to like play their best. So that doesn't really work out well in XSET's favor, but as we discussed before, at least XSET will be much more comfortable playing a GenG than a FaZe.
No, that's absolutely true. GenG kind of has that play to the level of your opponent if they're kind of like the envy, and then GenG are playing their game, which might, like you say, allow XSET a chip at that armor. And right now, back and forth, punch for punch here, is XSET do figure that out. And again, a question that I had coming in here, you know, with them playing against FaZe and not being able to iterate from map to map and fall to the aggression, what would happen if they, you know, ebb and flow against, I want to say just GMD, against GenG during this game, to make sure they always have control, they always have advantage, and they're not kind of force buying on rounds that will, if a loss, cause them to lose another 2 in a row. Looks like it is going to be a bit of an A strat over as we're getting a little bit more motion. I think we're still hanging though. They're trolling us.
Yeah, I wonder.
I was like,
it's
yeah,
actually really funny because it's like you have like the clock there and like the time is stopped. Like I really wonder like what's going on in like the lore of this world as well, because obviously the time is literally stopped. All of the buildings are like somehow exploding but not moving. So I'm curious, like once we get more insight into the actual lore behind this game, like what it all means.
I'd say I guess that's a property of Radianite in its like explosive form. Maybe whatever is surrounding it. I don't know. I guess that would be really cool though, if you were like stuck and frozen in time, if you were caught in the bomb radius, then the spike radius, right? And then you're kind of evaporated as it comes back in. I don't know. I'm just spitballing here. I like it though.
It's better than
we got
anything
pizza.
I have,
we got perpetually hot steaming pizza over here in Market.
Ooh.
Anything is possible.
That's a plus of time standing still.
Maybe that's a property of
like
Radiant as well. It keeps all your food warm.
Nice.
Why are people trying to take this away?
What even is that? Is that a pepperoni pizza?
I think so. It looks kind of like an everything. I see some banana peppers on there. A little tang. Would be delicious. Still waiting on the tech pause. If you're just coming in, we are on the lower bracket games. This is Fighting for Your Life in Valorant NA Masters. XSET versus GenG. And right now we're just a few rounds in. Both teams kind of going punch for punch here. BCJ, you can see him. He's like, you buy an Odin and you're just made to wait. You know he wants to just unload that. And every time I hear somebody unloading an Odin, I just imagine like kind of this Rambo yell going on in their head. You know, just this fierce face, and they're just screaming out loud.
It is such a strong weapon on the B site. Ooh, I didn't actually know that was there. That's pretty sick. So many little Easter eggs.
It is. It's so much fun to use on B.
But yeah, it's interesting too because the Sova's playing that style has come in and out of the meta, and it's just cool to see that it's just it is strong. So you just have to know how to deal with it. But you know, enough about that. I think we are going back into the game shortly. It does look like we're going to see a main start or control play to start off with coming in from GenG. So we'll have to see what exactly XSET have. They don't look like they actually want to contest it. They're playing pretty far back on the A site. Got the knives out for win as well to start things off, and He's going to make his way up catwalk here. So yeah, it looks like they just want to go for an A split here.
This would be such a big round if the Blade Storm comes up with just even at least a few and then damage to tag on after. The Frenzies could follow up easily. And they do have a bit of a split, as you were saying. They're getting ready for the Paranoia smoke coming in from the right side. Alt Orb, as they push in, Aaron comes up with one. Quinn will be able to capitalize on one. He's still alive and roaming the site. I don't think we didn't know it. Oh, and he gets taken down. Beautifully done by Win, but Pure and Thryfall coming in huge to take down the two that were making the impact frags for Gen G.
Yeah, great stuff there from XSET once again. Sort of reading the round nicely, showing that they're very comfortable to give up the site. They knew that they knew the economy of their opponents. They knew exactly what was going to be bought pretty much, and so just playing passive. So pretty standard stuff there. And we're going into the next buy round, and I'm curious. Last time we saw Gen G just going for like the walk-in mid and setting up a B split. It was pretty straightforward. I wonder if we'll see a different take from them here. But we actually see XSET looking like they want to challenge mid at the beginning of the round. So that's going to be interesting because that could really disrupt what Gen G is doing.
Yep, here we go. Called it straight out. Showstopper Tiles sees him, gets him. Nailing the coffin on Sean. Big frag coming in this round. Sean did have Empress up and could have been changing things up from Tiles on this buy. And now, come on, push back. GMD looking for some shots over towards B, knowing they got to play a little sweaty now on the fly from what they wanted to do at the beginning of the round as Spike makes its way over towards that B site. And you still have Quinn in mid.
What a scary round.
Yeah.
From the shadows from We did as well. We didn't even catch that. And that's created so many problems. Gen G heavily disrupted now. Have to find a way to get a pick. And Win's the only one who will find success there. And Michael as well is going to be trying to rotate around to be able to join forces to get in towards A with that spike. But it's going to require Win to do a lot. And he is in so much trouble here on the catwalk. He's out in the open. Paint shells out. Gets sprayed down by BCJ. And for Michael, really now it's all just about getting some damage, and it's looking very grim indeed. XSET, they're causing a lot of problems, and I love to see the fact that they aren't just trying to play passive. They are showing a lot of confidence, using their ults and creating a lot of disruption.
I'm right there with you. This round made me smile on my face to see him go out hard, as well as Aaron playing that so smart. 2 HP doesn't mean, hey, I'm going to go find more and do things. He played such good sentry, figuring out where more were, drawing pressure. BCJ was able to capitalize on someone firing back at him at Tiles. And just with 2 HP, doing so much more than just kind of ending the round with finding someone else. You love to see that, the smart play. And now 3-2 XSET. Feeling good.
Definitely. And
actually 4-2 because it's round 7. I think we're missing the next set round.
It feels like as well, Gen G haven't been able to really run their default, and that's a big problem because one of the elements of doing that is that you're able to kind of set the pace and the tempo, and you're conditioning the defenders over time, which allows you to get a lot more of an understanding as to how to get your advantages and how to play with the defender rotation. But right now, it's actually XSET that it feels like they're calling the shots, and that's not really how it's supposed to work out. So Gen G are in quite a desperate position. Win has the Vandal, but overall, not a great look on the weaponry for them, and once again, looking for that B split.
Nice checks. They know main's open for now. And that might be their time to move in. They're still playing it very patient. Spike's going over to Tiles. Aaron with nice frag. Another one towards Market, so they know they got to be watching mid a little bit. Oh, no way, Aaron! Switching back and forth. Doesn't even know which one he wants to be taking people down with, and it doesn't even matter. Great play, 2 rounds in a row. He's definitely feeling it.
That feels bad, man. Oh, wow. That's a rough one. Well, still plenty of rounds to play out in this first half.
Last player standing.
And the Odin. It's so much fun on the B site in this map. Aaron finishing it off. Great stuff from him. And well, again, just as I said, previously, it really feels like XSET is dictating everything right now, and Gen G going for that B split that previously, they used on a buy round, also didn't work out too well. Would really like to see something different now from them. Trying to play like a slower round, trying to play more control, maybe try to start off with a main control. In terms of the ult economy, though, as far as GENG are concerned, they have pretty much everything. So lockdown is available. If they have any set pieces that they have in the books, that the playbook, now might be a good time for that.
Yep. To make, try to go within a rotation window that you're firing off. They're going to try to get mid control here. And that's a precedent, right? A few rounds in a row, you're going to see XSET pushing out. Now the drone's usage is for mid to see if they even have to push or worry about it. Cat's going to be the play for now as they head up towards the tree area. And this is going to be a slow push in. Aaron in a dangerous spot when people are coming, backing off. Maybe the play, and he does get himself into an advantageous position, but still found by GMD as they look to take a site.
Great stuff there from GENG. Weed's on the side, though, still alive and kicking, but Sean will be able to deal with him. So that's the biggest problem now in this round dealt with. That was the major chance for some kind of a comeback in this one for XSET. For Thwyfo and BCJ, it's going to be quite difficult indeed. Always nice, though, with having a server in this spot. There's lots you can do with the arrows. You can bang those shot darts into hell pretty easily. The recon, the Odin, it's definitely strong, but this is a lot to ask from BCJ, and they are giving him full respect. Pete comes in as they know that he'd be forced to check for that recon, and Thwyfo not really able to do much from this position. And this round actually could have definitely gone quite poorly for GENG. XSET were kind of expecting as either a lockdown play or something of that nature, a rush. They were playing a defensive setup. If GENG were not as successful against Aaron here on tree, then if Aaron's able to buy time with his paint shells, maybe get a kill, I think XSET have a very strong chance to retake this.
We got a lot of ultimates coming up in this next round. It should be an ult frenzy on this, honestly. Do we see A being the option here? No. And I think they know Win's going to fight for that ult orb, so you see how many from XSET right now are about to come out of that A side, making sure no one's there. And we'll see what ults get activated first. Hovering around Mikhail rather again towards market with that drone. Everybody avoids a little bit of that spam coming from the Odin as BCJ looks to tag a few. Oh! Pull on Thwyfo as he jumps up. Sean takes him down with an insta headshot from the Vandal as it's going to be a B hit here, Dan, and it looks like they're going in hard with the Sober ult over their shoulder.
And BCJ, the lone man on the B side, unable to do anything, unfortunately, for XSET. So they're in a hell of a difficult position.
Yep.
Everybody coming from spawn, it's looking very poor considering that XSET have had plenty of time to get post-spawn positioning. So they could be in market, they could be in B main, they could be in mid. They could have a lurker through A as far as XSET are concerned. There's just too many issues for a retake here. So they will go for the full save, especially with the operator on Pura. Makes a lot of sense. But one thing I think that's interesting in so far as the way that GENG are approaching this is GENG are playing a much more of a gambly play style in the sense that that basically the presence that they show, that's kind of where they're going. And they don't have any lurkers on the other side of the map. And typically with GENG, you actually expect that Akusto would be lurking or that they would play someone on the other side of the map to the other team. But that's not happening right now. So if XSET were to figure that out and start to actually play more aggressively at the early round, take A main control, take B main control, fight for those things early in the round, I think they'd get all the info they need.
I mean, I bring that up and then I kind of like rings in my head. I'm like, Kusta would be firing a Roomba over off at B garage to alert, come on mid, and then kind of move around. We'll see. We will see. They are going for tiles once again. Kusta going to set that turret up nice and easy so they can see anything from Cat or that B push, even an alert there as well to make sure, turret's there. Do they push even more? And they'll have that knowledge. Common drone now coming out to make sure the mid of the map is covered. And I guess that's kind of the flow you'll see is if both teams are going somewhat round for round, it's going to be that, all right, we'll get some utility out before we push. We're feeling pretty equal right now, and there isn't too much confidence exuded from everybody. Mikhail down to 15 HP to start this one off, and that'll really make you reconsider what's going to happen in the round.
Really big problem, though, for GENG because, as we said, like they had everybody by tiles and by B lobby. So they have no control A main. And as far as they know, XSET could have pushed that. XSET didn't. I think XSET there's a very strong argument that should be something that they're doing in some of these rounds, but they didn't do it. So now we have a cut noise from GENG where they have allowed enough time that they could have rotated towards A. So this gets a little bit confusing now for XSET 2. There is a timing now where XSET don't really know what's going on, and they're playing retake on B. And Michael gets a very important kill. That's going to tell everything to XSET, but I don't know how they're going to hold this.
There's one. Pura's going to help. He's going to be just out of range, and now, again, they think about moving in. Not going to rotate just yet. Time's ticking down. The perfect moment to head in on the lockdown comes through, and they are towards that lane side. Thwifo's going to be able to take one down as Kusta gets the digital molly back onto him traded. Mikhail is planting, and they should have good control over the back of the site, and Gamond was able to make it into garage.
Very tough retake here. The B main lurk is always going to be a problem there from GMD. That's a great first kill. Aaron, though, he senses it. He knows someone has to be there, and GMD is very, very weak. Nice headshot there from Pura. He was actually looking for that, too, and still can't get it. GMD simply too quick. Nice little jiggle coming through now. There's the showstopper ready to go. Is he going to send it? There it is. Sending it straight to the back. And our Aaron, there we go. Aaron is going to be able to make it happen. And that's just so beautiful to see. You got to be feeling real bad for GENG right now.
A Red Bull clutch for him. We've seen the rounds where he flies out, and even if the alarm bot was going to hit him, he's got it. Transfer on that, runs in. He thinks about the nade, but he says, no, don't want to chance it. A confidence that we're going to get in there with the showstopper, and they rock it. They even follow up BCJ's Hunter's Fury and the Neural Uplink coming into this round. Good ults for GENG, though, so don't count them out. I believe it is now 6-4 as we're in round 11. XSET there in the lead.
Oh, the paranoia play, and Pura picks up the kill. We talked about some of that A main aggression. They're not going to go for a full take, but they'll be very happy with the pick. Meanwhile, GENG used the aggression A to be like, okay, well, there can't be too many people towards mid, so we can get that for free. And so that's something taken back, but they're still down a man.
Aaron, almost on that one. He's feeling a little too confident to play those positions, Dan. Kale, though, firing in onto We Did. XSET's going to have a good retake on this site as they lose Thwifo in the back, but it is possible in the 3v3.
No post-bomb positioning, indeed. It's always a tough look. Drone coming through as well to tag somebody. That's been pretty dangerous. That the wall is quite bangable there. The boathouse. Pura finding a nice angle towards that boathouse, and now it's going to be up to Sean here. Close range with the Empress there. It's going to be very helpful. Able to dismiss into a new position, looking for another 1v1, isolating them, but maybe not. Pura, he can't be denied there with the operator, not missing the beat.
You know, Dan, I love to see Pura stepping up. The second map against FaZe, he was not having fun at all. They were shutting him down. He wasn't able to find his shots. The situations where you know you have an inside angle on someone, but somehow they're shooting you instead of your teammate first, it was that kind of day for him. To see him popping off here shows that mentality. He can just get to the next day without even thinking about what happened before and put on an amazing show. So more power to him. The rest of the team is also flowing on that side of XSET, and they're putting up some good rounds here as we are in the final round of the first half.
Yeah, this is amazing. I mean, it feels like GENG, they just didn't, their game plan isn't really working out for them. They've had to rely on more gambly plays, and it's not been a lot of fun. XSET have been finding a lot of comfort, and we'll see the drone coming through from A main. And the BCJ is going to be seeing that there's nobody here right now. It doesn't mean that they can't retake it, though. It depends on their pacing, and they're actually speeding things up towards Catwalk right now. And, we talked about XSET stacking towards certain parts of the map right now, and they're definitely stacked towards B. But the push is going to come towards A.
Patience is a virtue, Dan.
Always.
1 minute on this one. Oh! The tagger was one. Everybody's getting scattered. Hwin goes in. The double knife. The triple knife from Hwin for the win. And they are going to easily have A. What was that?
That was sick. That's what that was from Hwin. Beautiful stuff there. He's looking for the ace now. Don't think he knows who the last player is, but I think we're all rooting for him at this point. Hwin with such an excellent round. Sean's going to take it away, but beautiful play from the Jet. That's That's what you want to see. It's that explosiveness, the X factor coming in for GENG to get a 5-7 half. It was a difficult half, but now they can forget about it and just move on to the defensive side where things will be very different.
Wow. I love that too. Just he's like, hit me with it. I don't care. I'm gonna be I'm full in. Sean coming up over the shoulder. That's a great round, especially to come back on when you're down in the half to start off the next half. You know, pistol round, you get a little bit of momentum in there. They're feeling good, and we'll see how they carry this out. GENG now to see what they can do here, stopping the offensive tactics of XSET.
And what sort of pace will we see here from XSET on the attack? Not looking too quick at the moment, just clearing B main control, creating some pressure. Again, defenders often might want to get aggressive somewhere. Catwalk's a great one because it allows you to kind of deal with everything. You get information, you're able to have fast rotations, and you can always be helpful for your team. So we'll see that cat aggression coming from GENG on the defense. Now the game's been given away though, because Sean's going to spot the push coming through B main, but it's been slowed down here by this nano swarm, and that's a huge problem for XSET.
Getting that dismiss allowed him to get out. Such a risky position to play there, knowing they could be rushing, but he's feeling comfy. You can tell what that says about Sean right now. He moves in again. The rest of the team giving him some help there as Kusta there next to switch. Oh, God! Hits him with a fan right in the face. Are you serious? There's a shot from Sean. Still alive, still pumping. That's a 3K for him.
Nice hold comes through, and it's so, as you say, like the combination of having that forward position, winning that first battle. That's why you need to get, you know, your most skillful players on, or mechanically gifted players on arena. You get that first kill, dismiss away, slows the push down. Nanoswarm gets popped, and the rotation is fully in for the defenders, giving them all of the advantages. Such a great round.
All right, how do they do it next? This is going to be that save over on the side of XSET. Sean giving him the what for on that first round, and there's going to be a call that there's a little love for mid, and no sight on that means GENG probably going to play a little bit more reserved here to just get those frags as the close corners come to fruition.
I like this. You know, you lose the sight, but you just say, okay, you guys can have the sight. We'll take a main control, so you're going to have a very hard time, but maybe not. Aaron is going in there. Looks like Michael's going to be able to deal with that quite nicely. And it looks like there's a lot of potential, positionally speaking, for XSET to make some things happen. But it's just BCJ. This is a very low player, but looks like Michael with the swing is going to get it done. 7-7. And we're all tied up here on ASCENT. This is the first map of this series. This is an elimination situation for these teams as well in the lower bracket. So a lot on the line here at Masters 1.
Yeah, a lot of pressure. This is GENG's pick as well. XSET choosing defense. So XSET doing quite well. They did their homework, probably figuring that GENG would pick this. It's, excuse me, XSET's second most played map competitively. So not too shabby there. They're going to have something in the scrapbook to get themselves to these sites. It's seeing how the site hold and host plants go right now. Like you said, 7-7. You gotta love games that go punch for punch, and we'll see if that happens here in the second half. A little bit of a push in by Pura and the rest of the team. It seems like a full committal over here onto that A site, and there isn't too much aggression coming out on the side of GENG's B, so they're not really grabbing that info. But you also have to consider this camera's up here, and they can see everything that's going on, so XSET feels comfortable.
Very tense situation. You may expect a contact play, and just like there it is, Pura will be able to trade onto Michael. They don't necessarily know that GMD's right around the corner, dropping another smoke. Going into the smoke, Pura is going to happily deal with that one as he dashes forwards, trying to take more space for the team towards 3. And XSET are setting it home right now as there's nothing that GENG can do. They keep going for the challenges, but they are losing everyone. Sean is left, and he's going for a very desperate play. Straight forward onto the site, almost making it look doable with the frenzy, but XSET will shut it down. 8-7.
I love watching Sean play. That's just the Sean way. You know, it's like you're gonna have to hit that site fast enough that you're catching everybody still on their current angle. And imagine if that gun had dropped down off Jenny and he has it. What a different story. But yeah, I always love that fast-paced play where you're just trying to hit everybody the moment they aren't looking. It requires some damn good aim. We'll see what happens though. XSET's still on top of it. Their aim is the one that's hitting true for this last round. And now we're on a double gun round. Actually, we're gonna see Aaron on that Spectre, but he does have full util, so that's what he's deciding. It's going to be a little bit more of a priority. And Mikhail takes a bit of spam damage there, as it looks to be finally a spread here. XSET's going to say, hey, let's see if we can start toying with them. We'll get a little bit of rotation towards B in a 3-2 split cross map, but they have to be careful about their mid info and how long they don't have that.
Yeah, Mike, we're using the drone to get some additional information, and seeing Jet there in that cubby is quite a tell. So we'll see what the response is from both teams. If GENG were looking like they, or rather, if XSET were looking like they wanted to actually go for a push there, they have time to sort of reset out. And at the same time, GENG not really caring too much, just holding on to pretty basic safe positioning on their defense. And they're feeling that slower pace from XSET, so they're trying not to jump to any conclusions just now.
No more charges left.
With that said, the drone will be spotted coming out from BCJ in mid, which is a tell that they are trying to take some mid control, of course. So we'll start to see XSET working on the completion to the round now.
Like it, 3-2 to a full mid. Distraction, no follow-up is close enough. They can't close the gap like the flash packs do, and they're finally getting into that spike site. Mikhail taking down Sean in the accidental friendly fire. Pure is going to take advantage of a bit more open space in the site. A perfect thing for Jet to do. Not enough time to plant. Looking for maybe a few more frags to damage the eco, and it's just going to be about 0.2 late on that one, I believe. Oh, got it. Don't try to do math on stream. Nice 300 grabbed. It looked like he got it down at like 389, and it was just going to be off, but it was over 4 seconds. That's what's required, and they're going to give it over here to Mikhail. Get another all point on the board.
Yeah, that was really close. He was, if just maybe like 1 more second to reposition, maybe Puro has the opportunity to do something there.
Yeah.
But yeah, 8-8. We're all tied up, and taking stock of the money situation, we'll see both teams in with purchases, and XSET not really looking as good.
No.
Win on that operator's certainly going to be interesting. We can see that he's going to take a peek on Catwalk to start things off, and we can also see that XSET are looking to maybe go for a fast play into this A site, but GENG, I think, will have a lot to defend this with because they're stacked towards the A side of the map.
And that's a fast play. Instant Jenny kill onto Kusta as they fire out the Hunter's Fury. Dan, they're flying into sight, and it's causing a bit of rotation here from XSET. Look at the rotation around from GENG here. You do have Sean just on the flank, and that may come up big.
Spike planted.
All stuck on the sites for XSET. It's going to be a tough hold. GENG trying to set up around it. Sean did the smart thing. He broke the trip, so he's suggesting that there's a flank, but he's going to help his teammates come out of tree towards that site position. There's the showstopper coming through just to buy time here from Aaron. We'll have to see if that's going to come into play now as the rest of GENG start to make their way forward. It's Michael with a double, and it's looking phenomenal right now for GENG's retake. What is this, though, from Aaron? Jumping up, taking all the power away from him in a high ground position. VCJ, by hell, will get taken down. It's all up to Aaron, but he can't finish it off.
Oh, these rounds, Dan, they're so awesome to watch. Everybody's making split decision plays at the last moment. You're basically getting swarmed, blast packing out of the situation, knowing you're about to take shots from your 6. Aaron gets up, gets 2, has to turn around with insta-fights, knowing that BCJ's stuck underneath with a stinger at that moment. Well, these rounds are hectic, and GENG's doing a great job of sourcing out where the problem is to keep the round in their favor. Another one for them there as they take the lead here in this match.
Yeah, it's looking pretty crazy right now, and I'm still waiting for Win to get like an opening pick here. This might be the round as there is more mid presence early on, and Win is looking for it and can't quite find it, but Sean certainly will. A quick double as he just mows them down from mid to top mid. And that's awful for XSET. Someone has to come up with something big. This is a 3 versus 5 this early on. It just comes down to, at this point for XSET, somebody making a huge play. It really is as simple as that. We wanted to be that man, but unfortunately he couldn't find that opening pick he was looking for. And more info for GENG getting the spot with the drone in mid.
And that stings. He's Weeded's down to 31 HP there. He says, sacrificial lamb, I'll go first. See if I can find anything here on that mid area. They do have good utility to find someone, maybe single out a kill here with creating a smoke to get themselves entry to a site, but it's going to be tough. They're finding just about all the utility still available and ready out in a site from Kusta and the rest of the team ready to come back in. Quick dart to make sure they do have movement on this. That's Twyfo's ult, but maybe just a point for BCJ here if they want to capitalize on a bit more advantage of the round. Yeah, he'll grab that for the Hunter's Fury.
Well, looks like they're just going to hold on to their guns at this point.
Thanks for the orb. Bye.
Yeah, it's always so difficult when you lose a couple players early on the attack. There's very little you can do because you have to gain space, and normally, gaining space, let's say position towards the site or the site itself, there comes a cost normally, a cost of players, utility, to get that position. It's the trade. And so when you're down to 3 players and they have 5 left, well, it's not a good trading situation. So 10-8 for GENG, definitely looking like they are stabilizing at this point. The mid aggression has been phenomenal, and XSET are on the back foot here. XSET have to change something.
I feel like this map's going to be, every map is important, but with Haven coming up next, we've seen a lot of teams just get turned around on Haven and it not go their way, being such a diverse map, all sites. So this one coming down to the wire is going to mean a lot here in this best of series. As we said, Bind, one of the better maps for XSET, going to be the last one here if they make it to the best of 3. But they've practiced them all. That's not to say they can only Bind. We see this great match here on Ascent as they continue to take rounds off of GENG there in the first half. But now seem to fall. GENG's aggression is just online at the moment.
Oh, so much information there with that drone. But we have XSET now trying to speed things up. They know that GENG have a great idea as to what's happening, and GENG, they're completely set up to defend this. They are in ideal positions, and it doesn't look like XSET has really an answer for those positions, as we'll get Weeded getting a frag onto Michael, and the trace come through from Twyfo, but still, it's going to be a hell of a task to get the spike, which is down by spawn, and then get to a planting position when he's got 72 HP, and Win and Sean know exactly where he is.
Slow play. Can't really fake too much of a fight here. I don't think anybody's going to buy that you're shooting at somebody and then they peek out to get you. Left. It's all just whether you pass their angle right now on contact.
I have retrieved the spike.
Quick grab of the spike from distance. I'm sure Sean can notice the edge of the spike gone. No, it doesn't seem like he's left his angle at all. 18 seconds. Good amount of time here. This close to the site for Twyfo to work with. Camera usage that they did here, so they know he's somewhere within range. And that's the drop into sight, Dan. This is going to make it tough.
One enemy remaining.
He's got to find the next one in time. He knows his boathouse. Can he find the headshot? He's spraying wildly. No! He's got to find it in time, though. Oh, man. Oh, he actually does get the kill, which is great.
That is a big kill.
But, yeah, that was a tough spot. Just like you said, I mean, he got everything he could get out of it, really. 11-8 in favor of GENG. Definitely a great defense. Again, that drone, the timing, and this is one of those things too, when you have a good read on your opponent's pacing when they're on the attacking side, and you can get that information at that key moment when you can, just like that one piece of info tells you absolutely everything, then the defenders suddenly have a huge advantage. And that was what BCJ was able to, or rather, sorry, Michael was able to do for GENG.
That all-door focus again? Is that Mikhail's? Seems like they'll be focusing it quite a bit just to make sure they can get back online with how they fire. Not Mikhail, sorry, that was BCJ. And now they move into A. Ooh, fast plant on this one, knowing that to sit outside, garrison A main, and try to fire back in with the utility that they have. Great job pushing GENG back. How did they react on an immediate plant round?
Twyfo for the very late lurk. Showstopper from Aaron is going to... Oh, that's huge. Kusa had a lockdown. I think he was going to place that lockdown. It might not matter, though, because the rest of Kusa's teammates are just forcing the issue, getting the kills. 4 versus 2 here for them as XSET are in a very, very bad position. VCJ in the dark cover. It's going to come down to great timing. The DS1 down to VCJ. And, well, he won't be able to find anything.
Dan,
12 rounds now for GENG.
You said it perfectly. You know, considering the timing of the round, Spike being planted, and where a Killjoy would be at that time, that wasn't a blind, this is going to be someone. That was the Killjoy position. And then for GENG to be able to say, all right, it's guns blazing then, that was pretty awesome that they kind of just had that in their back pocket and it didn't set them back. 12-8, game point here on our first map before we move on to Haven in this best-of-3 lower bracket series. Both teams going to be fighting for their life here in the NA Valorant Masters tournament. And they have another map to go through. This one not over yet. 4 more rounds for XSET brings us into overtime. And they're going to be kind of on a semi-purchase here. Utilities not all around for them. We'll see how they play out this round. With 2 down already. Deja vu, Dan.
Yeah, and I was going to say, it's hard enough that the ult advantage is usually in favor of GENG. They didn't even have to play aggressively at all. They could just try to play the retake game and just use that utility, the Hunter's Fury and the lockdown, to massive retake ultimates to play passively, but they're confident, and that's a scary reality. And Win, he's working on the ace right now. 4 kills for him as he looks to finish this one off in style. I wouldn't be surprised to see the daggers come out indeed, and him just try to charge down We Did. They might even try to knife him. Look, oh no, this is just the worst thing possible for We Did. Know exactly where he is. Oh, there's the ace to finish off the first map from Win. 13-8, and GENG are looking fantastic. After what was a difficult first half, they've really put everything together